At number 10, it's the Oklahoma Sooners. So they're 10th on my board. They're 9th in the coaches poll. That one spot gap might be just the tiniest bit misleading, right? Because if you look at what they have, they return a lot of starters, 14 to be exact. That's in the top 13 nationally in returning snaps. You get your head coach back. You get your offensive coordinator back. Your defensive play callers, of course, your head coach. You're in good shape there. Your starting quarterback's back as well. And John Mateer being back for a second season as the starter, that's pretty significant because it's only the second time in the Brent Venables tenure that Oklahoma has brought back their signal caller. So 5 years at one of the biggest jobs in America. This is only the second time where they've opened camp knowing exactly who the guy is going to be. He's one of only 9 returning quarterbacks in the sport with 40 career passing touchdowns and 14 plus rushing touchdowns. He also last year had to get surgery on his throwing hand. He got hurt against Auburn there early in the season. And by every account, in Norman, he looks like he's had a great offseason. He looks healthy. He looks capable. He looks jacked up. Clearly a good offseason in the weight room. So there's a lot of things to be excited about with John Mateer, but there are a few things to fix. He threw 14 touchdowns last year and 11 interceptions. 3 of those interceptions came in the Red River loss to the Texas Longhorns. The Oklahoma Sooners offense didn't play well in that game, but that was also his first game back from that injured thumb. And if you look at how he played after the hand injury, he crossed the 200-yard passing mark just twice in the final 6 regular season games. And what I want to see from John Mateer, he doesn't need to be a hero all the time. Just manage the game, protect the football, and give it back to a defense that is likely to finish at least top 10, maybe top 5. They could very well be the best defense in college football. And if he plays that way, then Oklahoma becomes a really dangerous team that can beat you in a lot of different ways. But if he tries to do things on his own, then the schedule could very well beat this team up on the offensive side. But what carried them last year was the defense. I'm talking they were outstanding. They allowed 17 and change per game. They allowed 272 yards per game last year. Both those numbers were in the top 10. And that's how a team makes the playoff with an offense that was at times maybe a little stop and go. And I think when you look at Ben Arbuckle's job this year, he's the offensive coordinator. He's not trying to reinvent anything. Maybe lean on the defense a little bit more and protect that defense. Lean on the run game a little bit more. Protect that defense. And they collectively as a team can take a huge step. Now, a couple things that have to improve, and people have said these out loud. The offensive line has to be better. They got to keep Mateer upright so he's not trying to manufacture miracles on every single snap. That'll also help them running the football. They also have to finish. And if you listen to what some of their players have said throughout the offseason, in all 3 of their losses, they didn't play as well down the stretch and gave up some points late. That led to them losing the game. So you got a top 10 scoring defense that needs to close things out. And I think they have a chance to do that with some of the guys that are back. Now, the running back room may be a bit unsettled, but I'm very optimistic about what this group might be collectively across the board. Now, here's the reason why they're 10th, because I believe, and I've said this before, I think Oklahoma can win the national championship. I really believe that. But in order to win the national championship, you must first get to the college football playoff, and they play arguably the toughest schedule in America. You can make the case it's the toughest in the SEC. You can make the case it's the toughest in the country. Depending on what metric you use, it's ranked 2nd by some, 3rd or 4th by others. And it starts immediately. You go to Michigan week 2. You get a road game at Georgia. You got the Red River game against Texas in Dallas there in October. And I think Oklahoma, they know exactly how thin these margins are because last year as the 8th seed, they host a first-round game, and they lost that game after giving up a pretty impressive comeback by Alabama, who we'll get to in just a little bit. And the projections right now are not favorable as far as the win-loss total is concerned. I mean, some places are saying, 7-5, 8-4. No, I think it'll be better than that because I think this team is that good. But the schedule is daunting. However, with 14 starters back, healthy quarterback, tons of career production, and a defense that could carry them is amazing. So I think that 7-5 number that the sports books are throwing out there, I think that's absurd because I think this group has a chance to go the distance and potentially win the whole thing. But getting there is significant. So here's my honest position, right? Here on the record in August, on roster alone, Oklahoma might be a top 5 team. You can make that case. I think they're a whole lot better than 10th. So if Oklahoma gets in, I love their chances against anybody. I really mean that. I just can't draw the map right now to guarantee them a spot. It's not a fade by any stretch. It's just a math problem acknowledging that Oklahoma might have drawn one of the worst pieces of paper in the country. If anything, though, the defense travels. They could very much get back to the dance. And when they get there, they're a huge problem for anyone that might be standing in their way.